I'm Gene Koon, and I'm on One Final Twist.
Welcome to One Final Twist. This week we're joined by best-selling author Gene Koon. Welcome, Gene.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me on
Yes,
One Final
sir.
Twist.
Yes, sir. Tell us a little bit about your book, One Another Try.
Yeah, well, this is my first book, and it's about another try opens on a transit train. A senator and his son is traveling to their campaign trail when an active shooter who's dressed as or appears to be a homeless veteran hops on board, and there is less people right off the bat who are exit the book. The senator is okay because Garris Kelly is at the campaign rally, and he escorts the senator off the train. And from there, nothing is quite the same, as you know. Garris,
It was really good. I will say it was one of my top books
yeah,
of the year.
yeah. Garris Kelly is he could be an CIA agent or an ex-CIA agent. The president, Garris, had taken care of a cartel kingpin, as you know, and the president invited him to the White House, and Garris declined because, well, he had a minor league baseball game to go to, and that was more important. And the president had hurt feelings and revealed that Garris's identity. He took out the cartel kingpin, and now the cartel knows that Garris is in Portland. So that's kind of where we're gonna.
Um, I was doing a little research on your background, and you were a videographer for the War Crimes Court.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah,
us about
yeah.
that.
Well, I was a director for the ICTY, the International Criminal Court for the former Yugoslavia. And this was the first court in The Hague to a tribunal. If you remember Milosevic, and so it's basically what I directed was kind of compares to Nuremberg trials. So every day they would have two trials going on a day for the longest time until they got down to the finish wrapping up. And so we would direct the courtroom proceedings. And some of the things I did there was I directed the final judgment for the Radovan Karadzic judgment, which they say the United Nations say that's one of the biggest political judgments since Nuremberg. So I was very honored to be asked to direct that one. Uh, but yeah, I did. I was there for about 14 years, 13, 14 years doing daily trials. And I got to see the best lawyers, the best prosecutors, defense attorneys, you name it. It was, I had a window seat to history.
Yeah, no doubt. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And you go from war crimes and trials to life in Oregon.
Yes.
Tell us about life in Oregon.
Well, I'm from Oregon, and I've been doing video. That's been my career for decades, and so I just had the opportunity to move to the Netherlands for 14 years. But I came back, retired out of the United Nations, and I'm back in Oregon now instead of The Hague, and it's different. It was a different place from when I left it than what it is now, and it seems to be more in the news now, don't you think?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Does writing make you happy?
It does. Well, it's one of these things, Scott. It's like I wrote a book. I wrote my first novel while I was in The Hague because one day I had this story going on in my head and I just couldn't get it out for the longest time. And one morning I told my wife, I said, you know what, I'm going to write a book. And she said, that's a great idea. Like it was like just another day sort of thing. Like, oh, sure you are. Well, once I said it, I felt like I had to do it. So, it's like because now it's expected. And so I didn't know how to write a book. I looked up on online that you have to, have a certain Romans, Times Roman font in the margins. And once I had that information, I just started writing. I didn't know if I was doing it right or wrong, but I just started writing because I had this story in my head that I had to get out. And and yeah, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed uh, it was the process. I got to tell you, I not knowing the process, I woke up one morning and I finished the book and I went back and told my wife, I finished the book. And then I went to my office the next day and I looked it up. I'm thinking, um, I wonder how many words you have to have in this sort of book. And and it's like I went back home, I said, I'm not done with my book yet. So it was a process. But yes, I really enjoy writing.
Tell us a little about your process. Do you plot it all out and then fill in the blanks, or do you just start writing and
Well, I'll give you the example for another try. I wanted to, I started reading more, the lead child, and I always loved Elmore Leonard. And it just seemed like Lee Child had so much fun. All his books are fun, just and so are Elmore Leonard's. And I just wanted to have a fun experience. So I sat down and I was thinking like, what character would be a good character? Because there's always there's, Jack Reacher's out there, Harry Bosch. I wanted to come up with somebody new, and I thought, what if a CIA agent who's supposed to be, go invisible is now a celebrity and an open celebrity. And how would he deal with being a celebrity? Now that he like, oh, hey, I just saw you in the news. Are you still doing things? And he always answers, as you know, am I? He won't answer the question, is he still a CIA agent or isn't he? And uh, but once I had that character down, and I kind of knew the ending of the book within a few minutes. And then I don't know if you remember the very last line of the book, Scott, but I had that within the first half hour of me thinking of the book. And then
huh?
it was just connecting point A to point B. And so I did have oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh,
It's been a
yeah.
while since I've
Oh,
read it.
yeah. It's only a couple of words.
Let's see. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I had that in my mind, and I just wanted to finish the book to get to those words.
Yeah.
And as I was writing the words, my wife was walked through the front door, and I just said, "Hey, great timing." Uh, but as far as plotting, yeah, I write outlines. I have it in my head, but then I kind of do the pantsing thing where you kind of let your imagination go
Yeah.
and then you refine it. And um, but a friend of mine is Jeff Deaver,
Yeah.
and he writes extensive outlines. He'll spend 8 months writing an outline and then write 3 months on a book. And
Wow.
so I've tried to get more into his way of thinking as well. So it's a
Mhm.
mixture. I'm still kind of learning the process.
Yeah. Um, how long did it take you to finish another try?
Well, I think I wrote the first draft uh, in about maybe 8 or 9 months. Like I said, I was doing it here and there,
Yeah.
trying to get the ideas and just having fun with it. But then uh, what happens is, if you recall reading the book, as Teresa would say, you have to lean into it because almost every page has something on it that leads to the next thing. And
Yeah.
so I just had to, it was almost like sanding it down. I had to, buff it and buff it and buff it. So to make sure every line was crisp and every line was, having fun with it. the
Yeah.
whole point of this book is it's like entertainment. I want people to have fun with it, like a 80s or 90s action movie.
Yeah.
So, so it's sort of like how can I make this line humorous in a way, but still get the point across? And does it have a double meaning? And
Hmm.
so, so it took about 8 months to do that, but then about another few months to edit it,
Yeah.
and then I sent it off to my fantastic editor, Anne,
Uh-huh.
and so she spent some time with it. So yeah, it was a while before we got it finished.
Yeah. The ways some of the action scenes are written in this, it very cinematic.
Oh, thank you.
This could easily be a streaming series, 4, 5, 6 episodes. That would really, Garris Kelly, I could see the next Tom Ryan maybe, or Jack
Right.
Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too, Scott. I can really see this character taking off because he has so many places where he could go.
Oh yeah.
You know, it just so, and he's an international figure, or he could be domestic.
Yeah.
He can go anywhere because once again, he's not going to answer the question, is he in the CIA or isn't he? But you know what? He's going to take advantage of that.
He's right.
So,
What is your next book? When is it coming? Are you working on
well,
it or?
I'm working on it right now, and well, it's going to start off with another, big opening, a
Yeah.
big opening scene, and then I'm going to use. I don't want to give you too much, but I'm going to give into. Uh, I'm going to go back and use some of the experiences or some thoughts I had from my last job.
I got you.
And
Oh,
what I mean by that is
yeah.
there could be some war criminals
Oh wow.
that are popping up. So, and I'm also gonna, one of the characters I really enjoyed in Another Try was based on a friend of mine, former Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General Merrill McPeak.
Yeah.
And I just see Garrus and the character in the book, General McCoy. Maybe, let's bring back a little, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover sort of, you never know because like I said, this is all about action it's an airport book.
Yeah.
So, where you pick it up at the airport, you read it and you leave it on the plane and go, just entertain yourself for a few hours. That's the way I want
This
to
is
write
this,
the book.
I mean, it was a very quick read. With you being a former UN employee, were you an employee of the UN?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Alma Katsu, she's been on the show. She's former CIA.
Yeah, yes,
So
yes.
she has to submit her works to the CIA to be cleared to be
Right.
published. Do you have to
Right.
do the same thing with the UN?
I don't have to send it, but I have to be very careful about what I write. So this is not going to be based on any
Yeah.
particular trial. However, there were things I heard unofficially that I could use to bring in to flesh out the characters.
Yes.
So yeah, yeah. The last couple of trials that I worked on was the General Mladic trial and the
Mhm.
President Radovan Karadzic trial, and they were both hiding. They were both fugitives for a number of years. So they were finally caught in the last days of the court. So maybe we have something to do with the book with them maybe hiding.
Hmm. Well, that definitely does sound like it's going to be a page turner when you get her finished.
That's the goal.
Let's switch gears a little bit.
Yeah,
Now,
sure.
I know you like wine,
Oh, yeah.
so if you could share a bottle of wine with any author, who would it be, and what would your first question be?
Wow. Well, I've already done that a few times.
Ah,
Um, and I have, I'm a curious cat. I have a lot of questions and the questions don't stop. So, actually, I'm going to go back to Merrill McPeak again, General McPeak, because he wrote a book called Hangar Flying. And I get to ask, because the general was the former chief of staff of the Air Force for Bill Clinton and George Bush. And
Mhm.
so he can go back, but he was also a Thunderbird pilot.
Oh wow.
So so I can ask him, we'll have a glass of wine and it'll be a good bottle. And I can ask him, what is it like to sit in the cockpit when you're flying 200 missions in Vietnam, when you're ejecting out of a Thunderbird jet? What's it like having a Thunderbird jet flying right at you? So, yeah, he's not a thriller writer, but his book, Hangar Flying, which I highly recommend, uh, he's got a Elmore Leonard sense of humor as well.
Oh
So
wow.
it's not just it's not a, just a military book. It's a blast. So I highly recommend it. So he would be the one.
So if our viewers want to find you on social media and a website, how can they do that?
Yeah, I have a website, genekoon.com, and I am also on Facebook, Instagram, and X.
Okay. All right. And is there any place that our readers can get signed copies?
I haven't done that yet, but if they go through I'll figure that out. But if they want to contact me through the website,
Okay.
I encourage people to write, let me know what they think. You can do that at the website. Um, but before, I believe you listened to the audio book,
I did.
Scott. Is that
I
right?
did. I
Yeah.
listened to the audiobook and then I read the book.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to just say I was so honored to have Richard Poe narrate the book.
Yes.
He won, the award for being the best narrator one of the years for East of Eden, John
Yes.
Steinbeck's, and he did Angels and Demons, and he just brought it to life, and I
Yeah.
couldn't be more pleased with it.
The audio was quite exceptional. I will say that. What are you currently reading?
Oh, well, let's see what I'm re oh, you know what? I went back to an Elmore Leonard book. I'm reading uh, Tishamanga Blues. I'm probably not
Okay.
saying that right, but yeah. The general said that he sent me the very last line of it, and I remember reading it years ago. And then I just finished up, not recently. I've got it on the page here. Is this one? I don't know if you've read this yet, but it's Terrence LaHue's Diamonds in Denver.
No, I haven't read that one.
Yeah. Terrence is great. He's an adventure. It goes back to the early pilots, of the 1920s and
Yeah.
30s, that sort of thing. And he also wrote, he's a terrific, check this out.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Like
I mean,
that.
just look at the cover. So you can kind of see so
Yeah.
I read those and those were terrific. And
Yeah.
so,
I made a note of him, so I'll be sure to check him out.
yeah. He's great. So those are the last that I've been reading. But I try not to read too much when I'm working on my own.
I got you.
But when I'm in transit, I'll do the audio book of
Yeah.
so. But yeah, Elmer Leonard. Sometimes you got to go back to the to the
Yeah.
classics. So
And some of his stuff, it's just crazy. Some of his stuff, how
yeah,
it's serious and then it's just a laugh a
yeah,
minute kind of thing, you know.
yeah. Did you watch the Justified series?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't watch every bit of it, but I
yeah,
watched bits and pieces
yeah.
of it.
Scott, I do want to say that you and I met at BoucherCon.
Yes.
And you were the very first person. I'm a new author, and I'm going through my book stuff, working on trying to get things ready, and you were the very first person to do a video review my book, and I really appreciate it. It
Well,
came out
thank
of
you.
nowhere. It's like and I've been following you ever since, and uh, you're just terrific, and
Well,
I
I
just want
appreciate
to.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, and also, best thriller books. They
Yes.
have been tremendous help to me.
Yeah.
And Steve Netter and Colonel Steve Thomas, they wrote terrific reviews.
Hmm.
And at BoucherCon, I was reading, big, huge fan of Teresa's.
Yeah.
And I'm taking in a conference with that writers Tony Strong and Sonia Sargent were in,
Hmm.
and they made an announcement. Jeff Circle made an announcement that Teresa was in the audience, and it's like like, really, I
Yeah.
I
She
have to meet this person, and
she
I
was
introduced myself, and she's so you both of you guys are
she was supposed to be with me today,
uh-huh.
but she had something come up,
Yeah,
this close to the holidays, and when I messaged you the other day, I didn't really think that you would be available so quick. And
uh-huh.
then when I messaged her and said, "Look, I got Gene coming in on this day at this time," she's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And because
Yeah,
either I schedule, she schedules, and if we both can be at it, it's great. If not,
yeah.
we kind of wing it. But I know she was wanting to be here because you're one of her favorites.
Oh, yeah, she wrote such a great review and um I actually, for they say you have to have an elevator speech. I actually have used her review a little bit
There
too.
you go.
Because
Ain't nothing wrong with
there's
that.
so much going on with my book. It's hard for me to nail it down for to what to say, but she really I like the line that she said that you have to lean into it closely because there's a clue, you know,
Hmm.
you don't know where the clue's coming, and I really appreciate it. But
Yeah, that's true.
I just think you guys are terrific,
Well, thank
and
you.
and yeah, yeah. But you were the first to do a review, and it just boy, you made my year.
Well, I appreciate it. I read a lot of books, and I don't make very many video reviews. So
Ah,
I do slides. I do some, but I don't do very many video reviews. And if I really liked a book, that means that I did a video review of it.
wow.
So
Yeah, no, no. I watch everything you guys do.
yeah.
So
Well, I appreciate it. Um, when you get your new book finished, we'll definitely have you back on, and we'll talk about it and get the word out and
I really appreciate it. Yeah,
all of
yeah,
that. We'll get you back in with Beth. She is part of Best Thriller, and then she and I started this,
yeah,
a couple of other people, and we just the one final twist is kind of an offshoot of the other folks.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no, no. When I saw it pop up a few weeks ago, and it's like, what's this? And it's
yeah.
like, oh man, okay, here's something else I gotta watch.
Well,
'Cause-
we had been talking about doing this for a while, and we talked about a little bit about TraCon, and I talked my wife into doing the editing and cleaning everything up. So most all this will probably be taken out,
Okay,
uh,
okay,
the wife, she cleans it up and she edits it and she puts stuff together and she rearranges and she does all that.
yeah.
And when my wife said, "Well, I'm ready whenever you all are," she said, and my wife downloaded some software you've got to have a master's degree to figure out.
Oh yeah,
But
right, right.
but she's got the software and she did it and she's like, "I'm ready to go." It takes her, she can have a interview edited down and 3 or 4 hours she can have one done.
That's
Have,
amazing.
have my dog is barking.
Oh
Have
yeah.
all of have all of the get everything spliced together, make the commercial and do all that. She's pretty phenomenal, I will
Oh yeah.
say.
Well, my hat's off to you. You guys are terrific.
Well, I do appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we go?
No, I think I think we've got it.
Okay.
If you do, yeah. I any excuse to talk to you, Scott, is a good one.
Well, my DMs are always open and you've got my email. So
Yeah,
anytime. And I do
yeah.
look forward to getting your next book as soon as it's available. So,
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, yeah, I really appreciate it.
and I
So
hope it gets, do you have a contract or are you going to have to do submissions?
I'm gonna. Well, I have an agent, so
Okay.
I'll send it to her
Yeah.
and see what she thinks.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it as hard as I can. But sometimes it's like, oh, what do I now? Do I do?
Yeah.
So I'm at that stage right now. Like, oh, what am I gonna do? Okay, let's. So time to take a bike ride and let it come to my head.
That's right. Enjoy some of that beautiful Oregon scenery.
Yeah. Yeah, again, and you enjoy Tennessee as well.
I will. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, sir,
Thank
and
you, Scott.
we will talk to you soon.
Okay, bye
All right.
now.
Bye bye.